This is for the fast and light mountain rescuers out there, like improvised ways to climb a rope. It's the Purcell prusik system, and how you go about sizing this up, you can go to the National Park Service's handbook and then read all about that, as to like the justification, the rationale, why they chose these three pieces of cord. That's mainly for versatility and adaptability, because they can do a lot more things with this other than just climb a rope. It's lightweight, it's packable, it's cheap. If you lose this material, it's not a big deal. It's the Purcell prusik ascending system, but it's also a sit-stand technique, so it's basically like, it's the same thing as the Texas system. It's Texas Prusiking, but not with prusiks. We're using Purcell prusiks. The way that this is organized on the rope, again, you can just go to the National Park Service, go to their website or search for their technical rescue handbook, and it gives me options. So it doesn't matter which foot I use for what. I can just size it however which way I want, and I'm not going to go into like too much detail on this, but in this system you only have one real full point of contact on the rope, and that's just your standard prusik. This is what you make your progress with. So I'm going to choke up, sit into my system, and so I'm only really connected on this one line here. There are no like cow's tails, these makeshift aiders or étriers. There's no cow's tails connecting them to my harness, and you don't really need that because they're prusiked onto the rope. And there's adjustability in both. I don't even have to use both of them if I don't want to. I can ascend with just one with both feet in the loop. But really, this is kind of set up so that you can do whatever fits, you. So I can step up into this, make my progress by pushing this up, sit into it, and then I can adjust one, both. I can alternate. There's just a variety of different ways I can actually climb this using the Purcell prusik system. So yeah, National Park Service handbook will tell you how to size this stuff up. So these things can be repurposed. Standard prusik can be repurposed for anything, like a rope grab. The Purcell prusiks can be repurposed. This can be like in the tail of, or in the loop of long tail bowline, to do some adjustability for a rescuer. The long one can be improvised into like one of the head bridles for a litter. So lots of different options and ways to go with that. So let's get this back down on weight. But again, prusiks, they're a compromise. Yeah, they're cheap, they're packable, they're light. You can make them out of whatever, but they aren't purpose built, so they aren't going to release very, very well. So it's not as easy to climb with your prusiking system. So that was a type of Texas prusiking, the Purcell prusik system. Let's get that out of the way. And let's go over to this one. If you've ever read cover to cover The Freedom of the Hills, that's like the first book I ever read. Again, this is also a Texas prusiking system. The same kind of setup I have here. I sit into one point of connection, but this time I only have a split improvised foot loop or aider or étrier. And the way this works is basically just took a long piece of cord, tied it up, figure eight in a bite, and with the tails, I made the loop with a poacher's knot that'll slide. Before I did that, I just put a stopper or limiter so that it would cinch around my shoe, or really a boot, or like a ski boot or something like that. So here it cinches down. And again, if you want to know how to size this stuff, I don't know, just find a book, find Freedom of the Hills and read it, and they'll tell you kind of how to size it for yourself. I made these a long time ago, so I can't remember how I sized them. But again, Texas prusiking, I capture high, I step up. When I step up, I've got to like release this and then push it up and make my progress. So again, it's more labor intensive. There are a bunch of ways to do this. These are just two known documented ways to rig this stuff up. So let's do another one. There. Now I'll connect in. And I'm gonna step up high and capture low. Again, this is not the rad system, but it kind of sort of looks like that in a way. So now I have, this could be the Purcell micro traction or the roll clip made by Climbing Technology. So it just has a ratchet or built-in cam here on a pulley, so I can make progress. When I sit into this, it captures, I sit down into it, it'll hold me. So I capture my progress, kind of similar to your rad system, except I can't descend on this. So it's not rapid ascent and descent. It's kind of like, it's rad-like, but not quite. So as I step up, it's easy for me to kind of pull up on that. I step up, I can keep going up, and I can bump up my A-trays and pull that way. So yeah, any kind of device, it doesn't even have to be a pulley in here, but like some sort of a cam or a toothed or grooved cam rope grab or a sender or multi-purpose thing can be used for that. Unfortunately, I can't descend on that, but I can make micro descent adjustments by re-stepping up and unweighting this. So if I go a little higher and I step up and I unweight, I can lift that cam out. I can pop the cam up, lift it out, and then I can go down, let the cam go, and then sit into it. And now I'm a lot lower. I just have to make sure that I don't get too far out of reach from my, what would be my handle descender, so there's no way for me to actually release that. So those are some of the limitations when you kind of use just other random gear. You can make things work. There are a whole bunch of ways. This is just the stuff that I happen to have on me at the moment. So that's different ways to ascend, climb a rope.